welcome back to the Smile Code podcast, where we explore powerful ideas and inspiring stories to ignite happiness, fulfillment, and a lasting positive impact. I'm your host, Dr. AC Quaidu, and today we're diving deep into a topic that feels more important than ever before, and that is critical mass and the power of one. In a world where power and influence often seem reserved for the few, where echoes of colonization and the cautionary tale of Atlantis remind us of what can be lost to greed and control, it's easy to feel small, like our individual actions don't matter. But history and the present moment show us that small, authentic actions by individuals can create monumental change. Today, we're exploring how each of us can become part of a critical mass that could change the trajectory of our world. We'll talk about power and influence, the wisdom of Clarissa Pinkola Estés, author of the best-selling book, Women Who Run with the Wolves. We'll talk about the rise and fall of Atlantis, and most importantly, how we can contribute to a better world in our own small but meaningful way. So grab a coffee or a cup of tea, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. Power and influence. Two words that can feel intimidating, often associated with politics, wealth, or celebrity status. But what if I told you the real power lies not in grand gestures, but in quiet, consistent authenticity? We see it all around us. The Me Too movement started with just a few voices and became a global movement, changing laws and changing lives. Greta Thunberg, a single teenager with a hand-painted sign, sparked an international climate movement. These are modern-day examples of how individual voices, when amplified by authenticity and truth, can create ripples that shift the entire current. Influence is no longer just top-down. Social media, technology, and grassroots movements have democratized power, giving each of us a platform, no matter how small, to create impact. It reminds me of the saying, you may not change the world for everyone, but you can change the world for someone. When we talk about power, we must also address its darker side, how systems of power can perpetuate inequality, and how the echoes of colonization still resonate today. Now, when we think of colonization, we often think of history, of lands conquered, resources taken, cultures suppressed. Colonization is not just a historical event. It is a pattern that continues even today in more subtle but equally powerful ways. Today, colonization looks like economic exploitation, cultural dominance through media and technology, and political influence over smaller nations. It happens when corporations dictate the terms of trade that benefit a few at the expense of many, when cultures are commodified and repackaged, and when communities are economically shackled by debt. This is why recognizing these dynamics is so important. By seeing where power is held and how influence is wielded, we reclaim our own power. We become aware of where our actions, no matter how small, can make a difference. And that brings me to the legend of Atlantis. Whether you see it as a myth or a historical event, the story of Atlantis is a powerful metaphor. It speaks of a civilization that fell not because of external threats, but because of its own hubris, greed, and loss of harmony. The story of Atlantis originates from the writings of the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, who mentioned it in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias. According to Plato, Atlantis was a powerful and advanced civilization that existed around 9,000 years before his time. The Atlanteans were said to live in a large island beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar, in the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantis was a utopia, a land of great wealth, advanced technology, and remarkable architectural achievements. The island was said to be a paradise with lush landscapes, vast natural resources, and a sophisticated society that blended human ingenuity with divine wisdom. Its capital city was a marvel of engineering, with concentric rings of water and land, advanced irrigation systems, and a palace adorned with precious metals and stones. Now, at its height, Atlantis was governed by wise and virtuous kings. These rulers, descended from Poseidon, the god of the sea, upheld the values of justice, humility, and harmony with nature. Under their rule, Atlantis flourished as a beacon of peace and enlightenment. The Atlanteans lived in harmony not only with their environment, but also with neighboring civilizations, sharing their knowledge and trading peacefully. The society valued wisdom, culture, and spirituality. The Temple of Poseidon stood at the center of the city, a reminder of their divine heritage and the balance needed to maintain power and humility. The Atlanteans were said to possess advanced technologies, including powerful crystals and knowledge of energy harnessing, which some modern theorists speculate could be akin to today's renewable energy or advanced healing practices. However, over time, the Atlanteans became corrupt. Their insatiable greed and hunger for power began to eclipse their wisdom. They started to exploit their resources, wage wars, and seek control over other civilizations. The once harmonious society devolved into one driven by material wealth, dominance, and vanity. Plato described how the Atlanteans, blinded by their ambition, sought to conquer the world. They became tyrannical, enslaving other nations and using their advanced technology to build weapons of destruction. The gods, angered by their arrogance and the loss of moral integrity, decided to punish them. According to the myth, a cataclysmic event occurred. Earthquakes, floods, and volcanic eruptions struck the island, sinking it beneath the ocean in a single day and night of misfortune. So Atlantis, the epitome of human potential, vanished, leaving behind only stories and ruins as a testament to its rise and fall. Now, the story of Atlantis serves as a timeless warning. It illustrates the dangers of unchecked power, greed, and the loss of moral compass. It reminds us that no matter how advanced or powerful a civilization becomes, if it loses its integrity and balance with nature and humanity, it is destined to fall. Many scholars and thinkers interpret Atlantis not just as a historical tale, but as an allegory. It reflects the cycle of human civilization, How periods of enlightenment and harmony can give way to darkness when greed and hubris take over. In the context of today's world, the story of Atlantis is more relevant than ever. It challenges us to reflect on our modern societies, where technological and economic advancements often come at the expense of the environment, social equity, and spiritual well-being. The parallels are striking, urging us to find balance, prioritize wisdom over wealth, and seek harmony with our world to avoid a similar fate. We face environmental crises, widening inequalities, and a relentless pursuit of power and profit over people and the planet. The story of Atlantis is not just about loss, but about choice. The choice to learn from history and to create a different future. And this is where each of us comes in. We don't need to be emperors or billionaires to make an impact. We just need to show up as the best version of ourselves, consistently and authentically. Clarissa Pinkola Estés, in her book Women Who Run with the Wolves, shares a profound message about hope. She encourages us not to lose hope, but to stand tall, like a signal fire on deck, guiding others to follow, to catch fire, to contribute to an enduring good. Now, being a signal fire is not about being loud or being perfect. It's about being present, being authentic, and holding steady even when the world feels chaotic. It's about showing others through our actions that they too can make a difference. And this leads us to the concept of critical mass, the idea that when a small, focused group aligns with purpose and truth, their collective energy can create a tipping point for change. So how do we become part of this critical mass? How do we move from feeling small to creating big change? Believe it or not, it starts with living authentically. Embrace your unique gifts, no matter how small they may seem. Take consistent small actions, whether it's supporting a local cause, engaging in meaningful conversations, or using your platform to share truth and hope. Build community. Find like-minded individuals who share your vision for a better world. Support change makers. Amplify their voices and stay hopeful and persistent. A critical mass isn't about numbers, it's about alignment. When enough of us act from a place of love, truth, and authenticity, change becomes inevitable. We become the tipping point, the shift that the world needs. And remember, every small step contributes to the larger whole. So you matter. Your actions matter. Your smile, your kindness, your authenticity, they are all part of this critical mass. So I want to leave you with a challenge today. Identify one small action you can take this week to contribute to a larger cause. It could be as simple as sharing this podcast, supporting a local initiative, or offering a kind word to someone who needs it. Share your stories and small acts of change with me using the hashtag SmileCodePodcast. Let's create a community of signal fires, each of us contributing to a critical mass that can transform the world. So, this week's Smile Code puzzle question is this: What is the term that is used to refer to the threshold at which a small but focused group of individuals, acting with authenticity and purpose, generate enough influence to create a tipping point for lasting and meaningful change? The answer is, of course, critical mass. So if you'll just comment critical mass under this episode in the comment section, it will show me that you're engaged and we're getting the message across. So feel free to engage and add any other comments that you have about this topic, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being here today, for listening, and for being part of the change. So until next time, keep smiling, keep shining, and remember, you are more powerful than you know. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Smile Code. See you soon.